Welcome, everyone, to Chamber Chat, Chapter 3. We are on the street in Doylestown, and we are at Chambers 19. I'm Dr. Vail Garvin, President and CEO of the Central Bucks Chamber of Commerce. As you know, last week we were talking to Mayor Ron Strauss and to Manager John Davis. They were talking about the issues facing our restaurateurs. So here we are in Chambers 19 with Matt Caffrey, who owns it, and Patrick Kennedy, and we'll talk about Patrick's manufacturing job in just a moment. But right now we want to focus on the restaurateurs and what is going on with them. I know you had a meeting with John Davis on Monday. How did that go? What issues were brought up? What issues were resolved?
It really went well. It went, extremely well in terms of their cooperation with town. They really want to see town do well, and they're very concerned for the merchants and the restaurateurs, and so that's kind of what the meeting was about. And it was about possibly closing streets, making more rooms for accommodations, keeping things socially distanced, but allowing people to have more room, and how does that look legally, and how they can help by expediting things a lot quicker than on a normal basis. So, but it went well overall.
Was there any discussion about which streets would be closed, how you would pick which streets are closed, what days they'd be closed? I have a lot of businesses asking those kinds of questions.
Well, it is. It's a hard answer.
Yeah,
and it's a hard answer for the borough to answer that. Trying to do it day to day. Do you do it on the weekends? Do you do it during the week? And what's interrupted and what's not? So there was talk about certain streets being closed, certain days, rotating.
Well, that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, so it's all very spur of the moment, so to speak. It's people are calling and putting their own request in, and then they're taking the request as requested. So I emailed John a request to close down Main Street, where it would not be all of Main Street. It would just be half of Main Street, and then you would eliminate the parking on the other side so that you could still have the option of having two-way traffic, or closing half and making it a one-way just southbound.
Okay.
Again, that's not an easy answer for them. They have to meet about it. They have to look, and their biggest concern is safety. Yeah. So what that looks like, but it's much more difficult for us on Main Street than it is on, say, Oakland. It has less traffic, doesn't have the truck traffic that we get.
I know Mayor Strauss and John really want to be able to come up with a plan that fits everybody.
Right.
And protects pedestrians, drivers, and protects us from COVID as well. So I know there was talk about closing a number of parking lots. Was there any discussion of that?
There was discussion, but again, it's what it looks like. For us to work here and have to transport food, it becomes a health department issue.
Definitely.
So, and then, the health department would have to be there. They'd have to be testing, make sure everything is,
the heat of the food is correct.
Yeah, so there's a lot, on something like that, there's a lot of moving parts. So that's difficult, but.
It is. But I know you have takeout. How is that going?
Good. We do takeout. We've gradually done more. We were doing it on the weekends, and then it was Thursday. Now we're doing takeout Tuesday through Sunday.
Oh, that's great.
And now we're doing lunch. So as of this week, Monday, I believe the courthouse is back. So it's why you see a little bit more traffic in town. But
so I can come by and take out for lunch when I work at the chamber.
Yes, correct. You can do that.
Done.
So
I'll do it. And by the way, July 14th is the chamber's Link at Lunch. And we're going to have a virtual link at lunch here at Chambers in addition to takeout. So you'll see more about that on both our websites, but you can order your takeout ahead of time. Come by, pick it up, we'll take your picture, put it in W4, we'll have fun with it. Sound like a plan?
Sounds good.
I want to introduce you to Patrick Kennedy, who runs Superior Woodcraft, and wanted to ask you, Patrick, about the whole manufacturing world, which most of us are not familiar with. What things are impacting you? What solutions do you see? What ideas do you have to overcome all of this?
Definitely a strong impact on manufacturing. The supply chain has always been the one that, if you're open, that's great, but if you don't have the materials on hand that you need to manufacture what you're doing, it doesn't really matter. So making sure the supply chain is open and convenient for manufacturing is critical. And that's something during the opening process, government was really looking at, saying, okay, you can have XYZ residential construction open, but if the supply chain isn't there to support them, if they can't get the plywood, roofing materials, the kitchen cabinetry, it doesn't matter. It might as well not even be open. And that's difficult because things might not be as evident and obvious of what is part of the supply chain. So that has been one challenge that everyone had to overcome. And some of manufacturing has the challenge of social distancing.
Yeah.
That's something that we don't have a problem with, but a lot of the manufacturing, like most people where the meat packing plants and things like that, that's been a big problem there.
What kind of business is Superior Woodcraft, so that all the chamber members will know?
Sure. Superior Woodcraft, we design and manufacture custom cabinetry, mostly for the home. So anything from your kitchen and your bath to wine cellars, bars, home offices.
I'd love a wine cellar.
We can help you out with that.
We'll do.
So, that's one thing that we're anticipating coming up is with a lot of people working at home, how much is that going to become permanent and
Right.
possibly, doing more home offices for people in the future.
Oh, that's a great idea. You can advertise it on W4, our chamber magazine.
Absolutely.
We'll feature you. I have to ask you this question. Did you apply for a PPP loan? Did either of you apply? Were you able to get any money out of it before they closed it down? Talk to me about the process.
Well, the PPP loan was very confusing as it came out, I think for everybody, but as the applications came out, we were able to apply and we were able to receive funding for the PPP loan. Our problem with the PPP loan was when it was given, it was very strict that it was to be used in 8 weeks' time, and it was to be 75% towards
The
the
employees.
employee labor costs, and 25% could be used for utilities, rent type of costs. And since then, it has changed dramatically. It seems to change weekly, and now they had just passed yesterday another that now it extends to 24 weeks, and you can go 60% labor cost and 40% towards other costs such as rent and utilities and things like that. The problem for an area for what our restaurant has is that we started the 8-week time clock,
Yep.
and so we will be out of our PPP loan. And so what does 2 weeks from now look like when we have no business? We have no outside seating.
Right.
So the yellow phase doesn't really do us any, it doesn't mean anything different for us in the yellow phase. And then when we get to the green phase, you're still at probably 25% capacity, 50% capacity, but with 6 foot distance, you're probably still down less than 50. So those are, I think, for small business, what the real impact is going to be is having known that you had 24 weeks to stretch it out
Right.
would have been better knowledge in the beginning. So I think a lot of small businesses, we have 40 employees, which is quite
That's
a lot.
significant.
And so we have tried to keep our employees paid. What that looks like in 2 weeks from now, when that runs out, is a whole nother story. So I think that's what small business is going to struggle with in the upcoming weeks.
Right. I agree with Matt. We got a PPP loan as well. At first, we didn't know if we were going to take the loan or not. As a business person, you want to analyze what you're entering into and what your obligations might be. At the PPP loan, that wasn't possible. You just kind of had to take people's faith on it that you were going to come out okay on it. So just mentally, that was a difficult aspect to overcome. And like Matt said, every week it keeps getting better and better and more favorable. Had you known that up front, it would have made a big difference there. And the really, like Matt said, he can't really utilize his PPP money to the best of his ability other than to help his employees right now. When the green phase rolls out for Matt, like you said, he's going to be 25% capacity. He's still going to need help during that period. And I don't think the government anticipated going on this long. Back in March, June seemed like a long way away. Now we're here. The really telling tale, I think, for all businesses is going to be the June, July time period when PPP runs out, and also when the extra $600 runs out the end of July. What happens then? You know, how many people are back at full capacity, and can we get all those people back to work, or there's going to have to be more stimulus coming, through to hold people over until we can get back to something closer than normal. Maybe not 100%, but 75% will look really good at this point.
No. Is there anything else that either one of you could chat with us about that might be of help to the businesses out there? Any ideas that you might have?
Well, first, Matt, I'll ask you about these beers.
Yeah.
Everybody sees that we have beer in front of us. Can you tell us
This
what
was
we're drinking
Patrick's
here?
idea, by the way.
Well, we try to, which we always try and do. We kept it local. So you guys are drinking a beer, Free Will, which is fairly common around Doylestown.
They're great chamber
Crackle,
members.
and the Free Will beer is fantastic. And the beer that I'm drinking is a Vault, which is from Yardley, Pennsylvania. So keeping it local. So those are the beers that we're enjoying. So
Thank you.
So cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers to
So
everybody.
local beer.
We really are trying our best to be of service to all of the businesses in our viewing audience. If there's anything you need to ask, anyone you need to talk to, you can call Patrick, you can call Matt, or you can call me at the chamber. And I want to thank Tom Brandt, our videographer, for doing all of these for us. Tom, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And this closes out Chapter 3 of Chamber Chat. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Cheers.